Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Europa Universalis IV with me, Alfapiomega, Meiou and Taxes and Scandinavia. So we never got the Pope event that we fired in the last episode, but we got a different one. Radical Reformer. Much to the surprise of early Protestants, it was only a matter of time before competing ideas split the Reformation. Some theologians felt that the Reformation had not gone nearly far enough. These radicals rejected transubstantiation, the idea that the body and blood of Christ was present in the host, as a myth, considered baptism a contract with God that could be voided with sin, and suggested that an omniscient God implied predestination, that God knew in advance who was damned and who was saved. These were strange and new ideas, and they caused division among the Protestants. One such radical is preaching in our lands and has made many converts to his strange ideas. What should we do about him? So we can send him into exile, which pisses off Scotland, and we have a Reformer in exile event that happen, or we invite him to lead the Danish Reformation, which is a way more drastic event than converting as I wanted, which would cost us 2 stability. But if we invite him to lead the Danish Reformation and we become reformed, we lose 4 stability, gain 150, gain a special reformed theologian, and up to 50% of the population will be converted to Reformed Christianity in the affected provinces, which would be Norge-Zealand, Zealand, and Skåne. Well, and there will be 20% in Norge-Zealand and Zealand. I think that with the question of the Pope, game-wise, it would be best to send this radical into exile, but I say screw it, let's invite him to lead the Danish Reformation, because the entirety of our original Danish territory, almost all of it, has converted. So let's invite him. We'll lose a huge amount of stability. 1, 2... Okay, we lost 2, but it was actually 4. And the stability of Scandinavia improves to 1. Or actually to 0, by 1 to 0. So we have dropped this significantly, but the nation is now reformed, and a huge chunk of our territory is now heretic. The Reformed faith, until it was supplanted by nationalism in the 19th century, religion was the driving force in the world. Although nation-states formed in this era, the roots of nationalism were usually found in religion. Even a small heresy could spill over into a revolution and was contained and corrected, but the worst was to rule over heathens who rejected the true faith entirely. Such infidels were untrustworthy at best, openly treacherous at worst. Glory and honor came to those who could convert such people to the one true faith. Hand over control of ecclesiastical land to the new church, or seize the most valuable lands for the crown. Oh my god, 3,352 gold. Well, church influence. What is our church influence right now? 70%. Missionaries plus 2. Missionary strength plus 2.8. We can't really convert anyone, can we? Catholic. And chances are pretty poor. 3,352 gold. That might be a bit too tempting. Let's seize the most valuable. Seize the most valuable aspects for ourselves, because this is just too damn good. And that will allow us to do what we wanted for a long time, and is build the port warehouse Rank free trade harbor. So let's do that. I'm actually thinking we could maybe expand the bureaucracy here. Gain capital rank 1 in Norge. Let's do it. So this gives us a capital, which increases base urban gravity by 5. Urban gravity modifier is increased by 25%, but yearly maintenance is 30. Okay, that's roughly over 2 per month. And if you build in your capital, the rank 1 capital improves communication efficiency everywhere in your country by 5%. So that is really important for us. However, it increases local construction costs by 20%. Monthly autonomy change is lowered by 0.10, and number of states is increased by 1. Our arena is kind of hardened. Okay, and I think we have looming disaster, internal conflicts, stability increase interval. We need to lower unrest, which is gonna be a big issue right now. Yeah. This is not gonna be nice. This is gonna be a time of turmoil. I can honestly say that immediately. And what is the aspect of faith? Okay. What does it mean? You have enough church power to pick a new aspect of faith. Fanaticism. Current piety gives us trade efficiency increase, advisor cost lower, technology cost lower, tolerance of heretics and heathens increased. Okay, religious unity is 53%, that's really not good. And missionary strength, base value, church influence, religious unity lowers, and missionary strength versus heretics is lowered. Okay. Okay, I don't see the aspect of the faith here anywhere. Reform gives us +1 merchant, morale of armies increased, tolerance of true faith is increased, tolerance of heretics is lowered, and religious unity is lowered as well. Which kind of sucks, I'm not gonna lie, but do we get a... Yes, we have an extra merchant. So where do we want to put him? That's a good question. So, sort by our current trade power. Rhineland would be... No, Ruslan would be the next best one. So transfer trade power to us. Let's unpause it and slowly ponder the upcoming effects. However, we can at this point take the Colombian exchange, which is a level 28 technology, which gives us a new group of ideas. When the Spanish made contact with the Americas, they discovered a new world filled with crops and animals alien to them. Soon plants such as maize, potatoes, and tobacco passed into the old world, while other crops like wheat and barley arrived in the new. By the late 16th century, the potato had made its way beyond the Spanish position into the rest of Europe, helping to increase crop yields and make less arable land attractive for settlers. Okay, now comes a big, difficult question for us. I have a free slot here. We do have an abundance of military power, but I wanted the humanist ideas to be put into question. But I can't really afford it. The nation would get stifled even more. So I'm thinking we can have a diplomatic technology or military technology, and we could put the humanist idea at level 32. And that makes sense. I guess it would. So now we could maybe go with the free trade or with the standing army. That's... but I would like to make... I definitely want the standing army, I want the free trade, I want the humanist ideas and the merchant marine. So which one now? Logic dictates military would be the best. It's the best because we're just currently getting more. administrative is okay as well, and it will eventually be much better. What about free trade? Or standing army? We have a standing army. Now, you know what? Let's ignore this. Let's go with roleplay. So, humanist ideas are the one that are the most likely for us. We'll postpone the administrative advances and we're gonna finish up the humanist ideas first. Because I have been playing as a humanist for a long time, and I kind of think that it would be best to deal with that at this point. So, we're actually losing money now. We do have a lot in spare, so we don't really have to despair. It's kind of funny. But yeah, we're gonna have a huge problem in our hands very soon with the amount of revolts that we are facing. So separatists. We don't have the ability. Did I click on the... No, I didn't. Okay, we can get rid of the problem with the separatists by spending 2 harsh treatments on them. That's acceptable. And we're gonna check will the numbers recalculate now or no. Because we really need to start converting our provinces. I'm not really big for converting, but we do need to. Let's hope that this won't stifle the effects that we had, which is, or events that we had, like part of your population has reformed, and these guys did this, and these guys that did this, so that would be pretty cool. Okay, you guys finished the port, didn't you? Yes. Your efficiency have yet not been recalculated, so that's fine. How is Vinland doing? I finished the port here. Yet for some reason this does not work. Is it calculated towards me? Because this is their capital. Instant communication, this is your capital. Local autonomy, communication efficiency, Danish. This makes no sense. Look at that. Base value in Danish, lowered by Republican tradition, dominant aristocratic function, educational level, lowered by part of a state. Tribals increase it, okay. What about here? The communication efficiency is low, increasing it slightly, but local autonomy, tribal settlement, Danish base value, education level, centralization, part of a state. That is really weird. I don't know why it's not lowering. Maybe there's something that stifles it. Maybe the province trauma or something. We'll see when parts of our territory start getting into that. Okay, I really need to find a way how to freaking get rid of this much unrest, because that is honestly horrifying. Okay, but we can't really convert anyone, mostly because we have a poor religious unity and because of the unrest. Who is the lowest? I saw something like 5% somewhere. 4.7. Local autonomy lowers it. It's Okinawa. Okay, natives have risen, but that's fine. Let's look at the technology. Now that it's March, we can take these two. So, late tertios. +1 army tradition for the next 11 years. As guns became more effective in battle, savvy commanders replaced some of the pikemen in tercio with additional musketeers. This made the pike screen less effective but dramatically increased their firepower, especially when the line was made thinner, allowing for a longer firing line. So line morale increased, combat width increased, infantry fire increased, and we got Finnish Hakapilita. I think we'll be able to have those, won't we? Actually, no. They're just Finnish. So who did we have up until now? We had the Tercio infantry. Pardon me. And the Tercios had offensive fire 4, defensive 1. Offensive shock 3, defensive 5. Offensive morale 2, defensive morale 4. So to them the closest ones are the Musketeer Square, which have 1 point more offensive fire and 1 point more defensive fire. They have the same shock and same morale value. These guys would be better in fire, but much worse at shock. These guys have higher morale. So Musketeer Square is our army of choice. Lighter and handier matchlock muskets replaced the older arquebus. Muskets could fire a 2-ounce ball nearly 200 yards, making them much deadlier on the battlefield. However, the 15-pound guns were bulky and required a forked stick to rest the barrel on when firing, making loading complicated and lengthy. The increased firepower and range made it a worthwhile investment, but the slow-moving musketeers were still used to support cavalry by many countries. In particular, the Austrian Whitecoats and Spanish Tercios both made use of the muskets to breathe new life into old tactics. I like how we are progressing the same way. And cuirassiers can now be switched. Oh yeah, so here are the Finnish Hakapelita. So we had cuirassiers, which are the shock troops that we have here. Yes, and Finnish Hakapelitas are the followers. So we had 1 offensive fire and 1 defensive fire. But here's the shock and here's the offensive morale. Apology for that, my phone was ringing. So the Hakapelitas were a division of Finnish light cavalrymen employed by Sweden. They were highly trained and excellent at raiding, spying, lightning quick tactics, and most especially charging. Attacking at full gallop, the Hakapelita would fire pistol shots as they approached the enemy line, drawing their sword once the horse made contact. The small, sturdy, and powerful horses ridden in the Hakapelita were some of the founding members of the modern Finnhorse breed, the national horse of Finland. So yeah, that's awesome. Wow, actually the shock is much higher. I did not realize that. We had 1 more offensive fire and then 2 more offensive shock, and the morale is the same. That's pretty cool. So yeah, let's improve our quality infantry. So what's next? Next I want to check the joint stock companies, which will give us the global trade power of 20% for the next 11 years. Joint stock companies. Trade overseas came with both great risk and reward. By pooling their money, hundreds or thousands of merchants could set up an expedition that could travel across the world to trade in spices, slaves, and other commodities in a multi-year voyage. Such expensive ventures were written up as contracts in which each investor held a share of the profits commensurate with his investment. The most famous joint stock companies were the East India Company. So trade range increased, trade efficiency increased, naval morale increased, settler growth increased, and most of all, we got the brigantine. So let's check the brigantine. So the brigantine gives 5 trade power. That is awesome. What a huge change. 25 hull size, 27 cannons, and 8 speed. Up until now, we used a ship that had 17 cannons and 16 hull size, so it's a really big difference. The Brigantine is a different type of ship. A two-masted vessel, the Brigantine was originally a sail and oar pirate ship. By the 17th century, Atlantic maritime nations began using the term to refer to two-masted sailing ship using a particular kind of square-sailed rigging. Brigantines were fast ships, larger than caravels, and so able to carry more guns. Actually, those are one of the most beautiful ships that I know of, and they are beautiful. So, oh, nice. First colony self-sustaining, and we can get 2 new ships. So even though, well, we no longer are losing money because we are no longer getting that. Oh, holy crap, though. Oh, the unrest is increasing in crap. Actually, you know what? We're not gonna build in here. We're gonna build 2 of them here because that makes more sense. And Skin has 354 days as well. So 2 will be built here and we're gonna build 2 in Skåne. So which colony became self-sustaining? Takamkuk, and it immediately becomes part of Vinland, which is good. I'm actually pleased with that. I'm gonna send them to Ushat. And once I am content with them arriving there, actually, do we have them here? Okay, we have Lars Fisher here, so you guys will come to Ushat, and Lars Fisher will afterwards check out this Terra Incognita, because there's another province there that I want to take. But I'm thinking that we might wait for a bit right now, so the situation becomes a bit more calm. Well, we can get more infantry and other units, so do we want to? I think we do. We have 20 regiments here, so let's raise an additional musketeer square here and here, so that we have a bit more mobile infantry. If shit starts happening in Scandinavia, we'll have big trouble. Look at how fast the rebels are organizing. This is gonna be brutal. What's the highest? Bahus. Where the hell is Bahus? Wait, no, that's Baya. I don't know, typing wrong. Bahus. What's increasing the unrest so much? Intolerance, centralization, persecute the heretic minority. How can it be? If that was true, that means this will never go away at this point. State loyalty, local autonomy, brother culture. Intolerance. Because if the intolerance goes away, then the centralization still remains. Fuck. How come, for example, Skinner has no unrest? Legitimacy, church property, tolerance. Yeah, tolerance is making a lot of difference. Well, we are in for a good time. There's not much I can say other than that. And on that note, I'm going to end this episode, which was one huge segment with the exception of my phone ringing. I apologize for that, but there's a lot of things happening right now, so I hope that you will approve. So anyway, see you in the next episode, where we deal with the aftermath of the Reformation, I guess. Are we the only reformed? Yeah, I think we are, with the except... Well, actually, Venice is... No, Genoa is the other reformed nation. So you know what? Let's improve relations with them. This is all Genoa, right? Yeah. So Genoa is the Reformation. And the Roman territories. That's fun. That's fun.